What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 19 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 19 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $445 just yesterday. Another member who won $130 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is Richaun Holmes, and this one is for 9.5 rebounds, and this one is for less. Now look at Richaun Holmes. We've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the San Antonio Spurs. Now look at the San Antonio Spurs. We do see that they rank 27th when it comes to rebounds allowed. But when it comes to Richaun Holmes, the reason why that we still do like the under for this situation is that when it comes to Richaun Holmes, he is a forward, and Spurs do a really good job at restricting rebounds to the forward and center position. So whether we see Holmes playing the forward position, playing the center position, we definitely see him struggling in the rebounding side of things. A big reason for this is because of Victor Wembanyama, but even if Victor isn't playing, we still see Spurs do a really good job. Now Victor is expected to be playing in this game as well, so that's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle there. But on top of that, I think when it comes to Richaun Holmes, we've definitely seen his usage rate decrease over the last couple of games, as his average over the last 5 is only 7.6. So significantly under this line, which is pretty interesting there. So we think that will continue on into this next matchup, no doubt about it. The times that he has gone on the over, it hasn't really been that convincing enough to us. He made it over by 0.5 in the most recent game against Charlotte, and another one where he had 12 rebounds. But like I mentioned, guys, those aren't really convincing enough for us to be able to see that he has a very consistent usage rate at getting close to this line. So we are sticking to the under for this one. So for that reason, Richaun Holmes, 9.5 rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about John Collins. So John Collins, great player. However, this one is for actually 16.5 points, and this one is for less. Now look at John Collins. We've actually seen him go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the LA Lakers. Now look at the LA Lakers. We do see that the Lakers rank 12th when it comes to points allowed. So they rank really well when it comes to that points allowed, and the fact that John Collins is a forward and center, or mixing between those two positions, we actually see the LA Lakers do a really good job, especially against the big man position, whether it's power forward or whether it's center. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. John Collins as well, yes, he has been able to go on the over consistently, but he has been facing off against certain teams that do allow a lot of points to the big man position. We think he has been able to take advantage of that, but like I always mentioned, matchups, that's what's most important. And with a matchup like LA Lakers, who do a really good job against his position, I definitely see this being a very different story. Now his average over the last 5 is also 19.2, so yes, it is slightly above this line, but definitely nothing too crazy for us. On top of this, when we look at this game as well, it is expected that the Lakers are going to blow out the Utah Jazz. If that is the case, we could see John Collins get taken off early, and if he does get taken off early, we may not see the same amount of volume that we usually see from John Collins coming into this game. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so it works out in our favor there. So for that reason, John Collins for 17.5 points for less, or sorry, 16.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. So getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Lauri Markkanen. So Lauri Markkanen, a teammate of none other than John Collins, but this one is a great one for points, rebounds, and assists, and this one actually is for less as well. Now, when we look at Lauri Markkanen for 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists, or PRA, we've seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. And they do face off, like we mentioned, against the LA Lakers. Now, like I mentioned before, LA Lakers ranked 12th when it comes to points allowed. Now, also in assists allowed, we see that they rank 23rd, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Lakers also rank, pretty decent as a ranked 10th. So, pretty decent in all 3 categories, and like we mentioned as well with the John Collins pick, Lakers do a really, really good job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the big man position, whether it's power forward or whether it's center. And like we mentioned with the John Collins pick, we definitely see this similar situation happening with Lauri Markkanen in this situation here. On top of that, we've also seen Lauri Markkanen's usage rate definitely fall quite a bit. And because of that, we've actually seen him not really have that many convincing games on the over, which is why we do like the under for this one. In the most recent game, he did get 28, so he only just beat it by actually 1.5, so not really convincing to us there. And he's also consistently gone on the under more times over the last 5 games. Now, his average over the last 5 is also 24.2, so significantly under this line as well. And when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. So the fact that Lakers are also expected to blow out, the Utah Jazz, like we mentioned with the John Collins pick as well, we definitely see that taken into consideration. And Lauri Markkanen being the star player for this Utah Jazz team, we definitely can see him sit out much more earlier than John Collins as well. So that's why we do like the under for Lauri Markkanen as well on top of John Collins. So Lauri Markkanen, 26.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a great pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Franz Wagner. Now, Franz Wagner, great player for the Orlando Magic. And when it comes to the Orlando Magic, he has been actually averaging 25 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists, while also shooting 46.2% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic have themselves a great matchup against none other than the actual Atlanta Hawks. So when we look at the Atlanta Hawks, they do have a record of 25-28. Orlando Magic have a record of 26-28, so very similar records there. But when we look at the Atlanta Hawks, we do see that when it comes to points allowed, the Atlanta Hawks do surprisingly actually rank pretty low as they rank 26. Moving on into assists allowed, we also see that they rank 26 as well, and then rank 22nd when it comes to also rebounds allowed. So Atlanta Hawks rank very low in all 3 categories, and for that reason we do very much like the over here for someone like Franz Wagner. Now Wagner not only is a great player, but he does have a really good usage rate in all 3 departments, whether it's points, rebounds, or assists, and we should see him be able to have a lot of the usage rate coming into this matchup, especially against this Atlanta Hawks team. Now, when we look at his most recent game, he did have 33 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. So he was or has been on a little bit of a hot streak as of lately over the last recent games. And when we look at the matchup, Atlanta Hawks are a very fast-paced team. And although Orlando are a slower-paced team, Hawks actually do a really good job at speeding up slower-paced teams. So we could see Orlando play with a little bit more pace, which should lead to a lot more volume for Franz Wagner, whether it's points, grabbing boards, or even dishing out assists. So for that reason, we do very much like the over for all 3 categories. I definitely would keep an eye out for Franz Wagner coming into this game. So for that reason, keep an eye out for his line. Definitely look on the over, especially if his line is under these averages. Now getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Kristaps Porzingis. So Kristaps Porzingis playing great for the Boston Celtics, and he's been averaging 19.1 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, while also shooting 47.1% from the field. So he's done a great job for the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics have themselves a great matchup against the Miami Heat. Now Miami Heat do actually rank 7th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we actually see Miami Heat rank 22nd, and then on top of that, we also see Miami Heat rank when it comes to rebounds allowed a little bit lower as they rank 25th. So Surprisingly, they rank high in that points category, but very, very low in rebounds and assists. Now, when it comes to someone like Kristaps Porzingis, we actually do like the over for all three categories due to the fact that when it comes to Miami Heat, they do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the actual center position. Now, when it comes to Miami, however, they are overall lower in rebounds, so I would definitely focus a little bit more on rebounds in the other three categories. So although Miami Heat do rank very, very poorly at restricting points in the center position, I definitely still see a lot more likelihood of Kristaps to go over on his rebounding line. So, like I said, there's still a lot of value in all three categories, but where I see the most value is definitely in that rebounding category for sure. Now, when it comes to Kristaps as well, he has been playing very, very well over the last couple of games. He's at a decent usage rate, and, Boston Celtics are coming off a pretty good win streak. They did most recently lose their Dallas game, but they have been on a pretty good flow when it comes to winning games, and also Kristaps playing at a very top form. So for that reason, we definitely see a good amount of usage rate from Kristaps coming into this game. We think Miami being such a poor defensive team to centers, Kristaps should be able to take advantage of this coming into this matchup. So definitely keep an eye out for his line. Like I mentioned, he definitely has the value to go on the over in all three categories, but where I see the most value is definitely in that rebounding one. So keep an eye out for the line. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go in the over. I definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Domantas Sabonis. So Domantas Sabonis, great player from the Sacramento Kings. Obviously, they have had a couple of different changes to their team, but Domantas Sabonis has been averaging 20.5 points, 14.3 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. So he's done a fantastic job while also shooting 59.8% from the field, which is honestly insane. So he has been playing great for the Sacramento Kings. And when it comes to the Sacramento Kings, they do have themselves a matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Dallas Mavericks has definitely been under a lot of heat lately due to the Luka trade, but they do rank 16th when it comes to points allowed, ranked 19th when it comes to assists allowed, and then 19th also when it comes to rebounds allowed. So very, very low in all three categories. And although they do have Anthony Davis now, we also do see or are expecting Anthony Davis to be out for this game, and their defense towards power forwards is honestly really, really bad. And they do a very poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists as well to the power forward position. So we definitely see Domantas Sabonis being able to take advantage of this and going on the over here. When we look at both of these teams, Kings tend to play a little bit more faster paced on basketball, and we actually are expecting the pace to definitely be, more on the Kings side rather than the Mavericks. Kings, we are expecting to push the pace, push the ball, and because of that, it could definitely lead to a lot more volume for someone like Sabonis to be able to go over on his line. Now, when it comes to Sabonis, over the last couple of games, he has had, 4 in a row double-doubles, so he's definitely in the right, section when it comes to him playing at a very high level, and we see that continuing on into this next game, especially against this team of the Dallas Mavericks, who are currently have a record of 28th and 25.